Good evening. I'm making this video because I wanted to share with you some steps I'm taking to insulate my own life against whatever may be coming down the line when it comes to the economy. I don't know if we're going to have inflation, stagflation, deflation, hyperinflation. Who knows? And I'm interested in the economy. That's one of my hobbies. And so one of the steps I took with my own life was I decided it was time to purchase a vehicle that would get me through the next decade with very few or no problems whatsoever and be beneficial to me in whatever I need to do with it. And that is why I went out and I purchased a Toyota Prius Prime. And that's a hybrid vehicle. It's gas electric. And for those of you who have heard about the Prius lines, this is a newer Prius which also has plug-in capabilities. So you can drive it in your garage, and you can plug it into a regular wall socket. And it'll charge for about 5.5 hours, and then you will go the first 25 miles all electric. And Toyota actually ran the math on these cars as far as the electric range, making it 25 miles. Most Americans, they don't live further than 25 miles away from their workplace. And so if they do have a place to charge at their workplace, like 80% of the country who's driving will be covered as far as electric range goes on these vehicles. And another great thing about the Toyota Prius is, one of the reasons that I made the decision to buy one now is that they are, in my opinion, undervalued cars. People are not interested in the Prius line anymore. They're not seen as interesting cars, fun cars, sexy cars. People are looking at every other type of vehicle out there except for the Toyota Prius, which is still one of the highest gas sippers on the market today as far as miles per gallon go. In fact, once you exhaust the electric range, which is 25 miles, and you can actually push it a little bit past 25. Today I got it up to 29 miles on electricity. But once you exhaust the electric range, it goes, I'm getting 55 miles a gallon just on gas alone, which is incredible, really, for a car like that, because the battery is something about 260 pounds. It's a heavy battery, so when the electric dies out, you can almost feel the weight of the car. And another reason I really love the Toyota Prius line is that they are incredibly well-made cars. These things are known for their reliability, their durability, their quality. These things are so well made that in the country of Mongolia, I was reading this article online once, they use Toyota Priuses for taxi cabs to get around the country because most of the country does not have pavement. These are dirt roads. So what they do is they kind of jack them up, they put on really cool shocks, bigger wheels, and they just drive these Toyota Priuses all around the country. That's how good of a vehicle they are. And you can still find plenty of Generation 1, 2, and 3 Toyota Priuses on the road today. Like the battery in the car is rated for about 100,000 miles from Toyota, but normally they go, 150, sometimes 200,000 miles on the original battery. So it's more likely for the car to be totaled than the car to just have mechanical problems and die on its own. I fully expect that if I take care of this car, I can get 500,000 miles out of it. One of the other great things about the Toyota Priuses, they are like the lowest cost of ownership vehicles. You're not going to spend a lot of maintenance. You're going to spend very, very little on gas. So it's if you want to save money, these are good cars for that. Now, I bought mine off of an online website called Vroom. It's kind of like Carvana, and I paid $25,480 before taxes. They delivered the car directly to your house, so that's kind of cool. And that fee was about $699, give or take, if I remember right. You can save some money. Like if you live around Texas, you can go pick it up yourself and you don't have to pay the delivery charge. But there's no way I was going to make a 16-hour road trip from Texas back to Arizona. So I was actually happy that they were going to deliver the car. And then when I got it, this is the first time I've ever bought a car sight unseen, so I was a little worried. But once I got it, it was in better condition than I had imagined. I detailed the car myself, and one of the things I noticed was that there were 2 little gray hairs in there, and so I think actually an old woman had had that car before me, which is kind of curious because, yes, it is an old lady's car. People are they look down their nose at the car. Like if you're a man and you're driving a Prius, people are like, either you're an Uber driver or you're just a slow, cheap dude. Because they're not fun to drive cars. They don't move fast, but they do go really smoothly, and they've got great fuel efficiency. So yeah, I'm driving an old lady's car, and she took really good care of it. I think the thing was garaged most of the time. Now, there was a cheaper Prius Prime on Vroom for 22,480, and it was the same trim level, which is the advanced, the highest trim level that Toyota offers on the Prius Primes. But I was a little bit worried because it was either 12,000 miles or 14,000. The car had been sitting for a little bit longer than I like. I want to see a car that's been driven every few thousand miles at least. That way it doesn't deteriorate from lack of use. That's why I went with the 2019. Though, on the other extreme, I didn't want to buy another car that had been made in the year 2020. One of my concerns with an even newer Toyota Prius Prime, and one thing to note, from anything before 2019, those are four-seaters, where the 2020 and above Toyota Prius Primes have a fifth seat in them. So that's just something to be aware of. But I was concerned that any Toyota Prius Prime made in the year 2020, COVID was raging, people were distracted at work, production lines might have been changed around a little bit for social distancing. So I was concerned that the same level of quality control that had been in place since the car was first built in 2016, there could have been some issues, and we're not going to find that out for a few years, possibly. But that's why I wanted to go with a Prius that was not built in the year 2020. Like, I would buy a 2020 model as long as it was made in 2019. But that's just me. I'm a little weird like that. I'm very concerned about quality. Like, I want a car that will not quit. And so one of the reasons, too, that I went with the highest trim level, it's got the fake leather, which is really great, but it's got a lot of safety features. So if you're going to turn over to your left and there's a car there, it'll like let you know. If you're backing up and you're about to hit something, the car will beep and let you know that you're about to hit something behind you. Same thing in front of you. So it just does everything. The car will parallel park itself. The car will come up with its own charging schedule, which is something, if you do buy a Prius Prime, you should look into setting the charging schedule, because that will prolong the life of your battery. You kind of don't want that battery at 100% 24 hours a day. That's why it's important to start setting up your departure time and charge time in the computer on your Prius Prime, which you can do. It's not hard. What else? Oh, the trim level that I have also has a HUD in the windshield. So it's got a heads-up display. So just looking out the windshield, I can see how fast I'm going, and it will even tell me what the speed limit is on each road that I'm turning on, which is something I don't need at all, because if you're driving a Prius, honestly, you're never speeding. So I just turned the HUD off. Don't need to see it. But it's cool that it's there as a feature. It's got heated seats. It's got a heated steering wheel. It has an option. Well, some of the Priuses have an option where you can remote start the car from your phone. So that'll be really useful here in Arizona during the summertime. Like, get that air conditioning going about 10 minutes before I get to my car. That'll be nice. So it does a lot of wonderful things. One thing to note, though, if you're a Prius owner and you're watching this video, it doesn't matter what generation of Prius you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of the Priuses are now under threat of having their catalytic converters stolen during the middle of the night. And this is happening far more frequently than you would expect. Just Google it. Go on YouTube, watch some videos. The numbers are increasing. It is an epidemic. That's why tomorrow I'm taking my car into the dealership, and I'm going to have a metallic plate put on underneath the car to deter catalytic converter thieves. And then later on, I'm going to have an alarm system put in my car as well. So if you are going to get a Prius, and even the regular Priuses are really good. You do have to sort of take some steps to prevent people from tampering or stealing your car, because I do believe that these are going to become sought after. If gas goes up to $3, $4, then everyone is going to want your Prius. They're going to be offering you money to buy it. Thieves may be attempting to steal it. I mean, that's how good I believe these cars are. Another thing about Priuses too, they have like their own subculture. There are a ton of really interesting videos about people who've converted their Priuses into like mobile RVs, like little tiny RVs. Obviously, they don't have bathrooms or showers, but people are sleeping in them because the air conditioning system can run all night. I mean, the car is just, they are phenomenal vehicles. At least on the Generation 4 Priuses, I'm aware that they can run all night. And there's a ton of technology packed into these cars that you can play with and learn about. So these are good. I don't want to call the Prius an investment, because it is a car. It's a depreciating asset. But I think that out of all the vehicles that you can buy, this is an asset that will depreciate the slowest. So you are going to do really well over the next decade, I believe, if you buy a Prius Prime. And if you can't afford a Prius Prime, just look at one of the regular Priuses. These are just amazing cars. They are technological marvels. They are the height of quality, and I cannot make a stronger recommendation to anyone out there who might want to take some steps to sort of shield themselves from the future. You know, things don't look so good. It's not like COVID that I'm worried about personally. It's the economic knock-on effects of COVID. And you want to sort of get your house together. And I think the best way to do that, since this is America, get yourself a car that's going to last you for the long term. And that would be the Prius. All right, I'm going to end this video with a few shots of the Prius that I bought. You can take a look at it, check it out for yourself. And I want to thank you for joining me. I will see you next time. Hey guys, thank you for joining me outside today. I just wanted to give you a brief look at my car. It's your regular Toyota Prius Prime. Well, this is the advanced trim level, but all Priuses basically look alike. Some people can't even tell, because my last car was also a white Prius, a regular Prius, not a Prius Prime. Some folks can't even tell that I've gotten a new car, which makes me laugh, but I know the difference. One of the cool things that I've just had done, and I do suggest that if you're going to be driving a Prius and you care about your car at all, you should get yourself a crash camera. So I've got one here in the forward windshield, and this model also comes with a crash camera in the back windshield. That way if somebody's texting and they crash into you, you have them dead to rights. Also, if you're watching this and you have an older generation of Prius, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't even matter what type of Prius, what year of Prius, you've got to get yourself a catalytic converter guard. Goes on the underbody of your car and protects your catalytic converter from theft. And those thefts are rampant right now. It is an epidemic. If you don't believe me, Google it. You'll read all the news stories. And that's a repair that if you have an older car, it will basically total your car. So I'm getting that done next week. But yeah, these are incredible machines and they're giving them away. These cars are not even wanted. I don't know why nobody wants them. I mean, I think it looks fantastic, but I guess maybe other people don't. But I mean, putting looks aside, these are one of the lowest cost to own vehicles on the road. The quality is, this is the highest quality vehicle probably that's ever been made. Like, it's never going to break down. You're looking at a 500,000-mile car for most drivers. So yeah, we're gonna go back inside where I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my decision to buy a Prius Prime. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at the back trunk space of the Toyota Prius Prime. It is not very large. This is one of those cheapo chairs that I have here, and you can see how much room it takes up. That's a smaller folding stand, tripod. So this is not a lot of cubic space. And then too, you're gonna see some reviews. They're like, oh, you can just put your cords right here, your charging cord. It's a bit of a pain to get it to fit in there, but not the end of the world, not a deal breaker. And I was telling you about how I have a front and rear crash camera. Here is the rear crash camera mounted to the back window. So there you go. And sorry, first time doing a car review. As you can see, cool stuff there. You know, it's fancy, it's black. Got a great deal though. That's the important thing. And they're giving these things away for nothing now. Like, they're literally giving them away for nothing. I would